Musk. His company SpaceX went public. He made $500 billion. Him and his investors made $1.7 trillion, and they paid no taxes. Okay, no one said a word. Just keep quiet. Let's get our 1.7 trillion and not pay any taxes at all. It's one of the glitches or loopholes in the tax system that you can take a company, go public, make trillions of dollars and not pay any taxes. Third thing we're going to talk about deals with our network, the Pod TV network. We have 4 channels on Roku, and we also have 4 channels on Amazon. And obviously you're listening from whatever broadcast, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, etc. Looks like Roku is going to be acquired by Fox, which means that we're going to be on the Fox network, or at least part of Fox, which will be very interesting. We'll see how that works out. Independent channel with Fox. Well, we're going to bring in our commentators. Remember, David will not be here. He is traveling, but we'll bring our co-founder in, Kim Calhoun, see what she has to say about being part of Fox. We'll bring in Dr. Sharif. He lives in Bangladesh. He don't care about Fox. And we'll bring Jatovi. Jatovi loves Fox, especially Fox News. And I just can't wait till Jatovi underneath is a commentator for Fox. That would be absolutely hilarious.
So I want to know is cool. Fox buying the Roku streaming application network part, or are they buying a Roku, or are they just buying Roku channel live? Like
it's 22 billion. They're buying everything,
the whole network. Okay, so that could be a problem for us because we had to go through an approval process to get all of our content approved to be on Amazon and Roku. And we were approved first on Amazon. It wasn't that it was easier, it just happened to be the first application I got into. And we went through that process, and then Roku approved us. But the reason why you wanted to do that was those were 2 hardcore streaming platform networks, right? And then from those networks branched. And they actually, Amazon and Roku kind of joined, because you can get Amazon on Roku. You can get Amazon Prime and Amazon channels on Roku, and you can get Roku channels on Amazon. So it's all kind of interconnected anyway. So I'm just kind of curious why they would do that, because truly the ability to generate revenue has gone down. People are not buying the advertising or the sponsorships for TV shows that they used to do. So I don't know why they did it, other than he who owns the media controls the people.
And they have 100 million subscribers to Roku in Canada, predominantly US, Canada, and Mexico. It's not big here in Europe. I watch Pod TV through LinkedIn generally, or else I go direct to the website. But in Europe, it's not big, but it's big in North America. I don't know about Fox. I think Fox broadcast over here, but not through the Roku system. I think what they're doing is they're buying the huge streaming system that Roku has, and we'll see where it goes. All I know is that we're tagged with Roku, and we'll be, and my belief is what they're going to do is they're going to rebrand Roku to Fox. So we're going to have to tell people we broadcast on Fox and Amazon as opposed to Roku and Amazon. But,
and we might not be able to. They might go in and go, "You're gone, you're gone, you're gone, you're out." Because we're an app channel on Roku. So
I know we've been down this rabbit hole before. They could kick our whole network out. We've been down that rabbit hole before, but
they can't kick us off the web. We're still
that's the whole point. They can't kick us off the web. They don't control Amazon. They don't control LinkedIn. They don't control Facebook. They don't control Twitter. They don't control Twitch. And we broadcast through all those formats. So
if you have a smart TV and you can get access to the web, you can watch all of our content and our channels on the web directly. Okay. And you can watch us on YouTube, and you can watch us.
They don't control YouTube. So it's not going, they don't have the ability to shut Pod TV down. but they could cut one of our octopus legs off. There's nothing we can do.
And it was nice to say that we were a channel. It was nice to say that we had 4 channels on Roku. But I mean, how much will it hurt us? And I mean, I watch us on Roku all the time. I've got, I bought another TV for my workspace and then my workout room so that I could watch TV when I'm working out or doing physical therapy or watch what's going on. So it's been a nice plus to watch us directly on Amazon, but I can go in and reprogram the TV to watch us somewhere else. I don't need Roku or Amazon. It just was easy. So
yeah, it's just the way it is. Well, Dr. Sharif, I assume that Fox and Roku aren't even over in Bangladesh, but what do you guys watch over there on the other side of the planet? Anyway.
No, because of social media, actually, all of the news media, they promote their news and everything in social media. So now this Roku and Fox and everything you can watch from Bangladesh and Bangladeshi audience. At least I watch regularly, and I observe all of the things in the global media and so on. Bangladeshi people's most interesting thing is that like every media corporate house, they have their own media. Every corporation has their own media. Largest corporations, those who have a lot of money. So right now, even in Bangladesh, what you discuss about USA, so you cannot find neutral journalism even in Bangladesh. That is the harsh reality. So that's why this is an opportunity for TV. I believe that people more believe in social media and so on, and you look like very neutral media. In terms of misinformation and disinformations, you do not have it. And yeah, I regularly, even today, I share this podcast and everything in between my community. And people are enjoying the pod TV and pod shows with the different dynamics because you are trying to bring in the smartest way the neutral news, right? Like if we go for this Iran, where this and that, there are a lot of misinformation and disinformations. But pod TV promoting these things in an effective way. Hopefully, soon you can launch it in Bangladesh, and maybe the global you can attract the global media. I told you this is very serious concern. As my uncle and my fellow of World Health Economics, when he become cultural minister, so I heavily promote this pod TV to Bangladesh government. They are waiting for the collaborations with pod TV. Like they know Kimberly, they know Nipal Veda and all of the things. And our Prime Minister office also want to welcome you in Bangladesh. I'm sure this will be very interesting collaborations and you can get a huge audience for your media shows. And you have the great opportunity to rebranding Bangladesh, right? Like restructuring Bangladesh media, or how these Bangladesh corporations and Western world media can work together. So it can be a great opportunities for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I found flights to Dhaka, so I just need dates.
Yes.
I'm trying to find flights so I don't have to go through Iran and some of the countries that don't like Americans too much. But there's a flight that goes to
Bangladeshi people like
on Emirates. What?
Yeah, Bangladeshi people like American people.
Yeah,
home visit Bangladesh.
It's not that bad. It's like a 15-hour flight. I go to Dubai and then from Dubai going over on Emirates. So it's a 777. So it's pretty cool.
All of you will get the VVIP access in Bangladesh with red carpet reception.
Well, just let me know the dates. November and December are good for me. I'm gonna be in the States.
Yes. We are working on that. But even though I want to welcome you before, like if you want to visit next week.
Well, I already know where I'm staying. I'm gonna be staying at the Intercontinental. Okay, I love Intercontinental. We have an Intercontinental in Dhaka, and I stay at Intercontinentals whenever I can.
But you also can come to Bangladesh, and
he's got to go from the other side of the world. I'm next door. Well,
business opportunity.
I'm used to flying around the world.
Speaking of which, I'm going to be in Raleigh in October, so we're going to set up a meeting in October. Okay, I already got my flights.
The other thing I want you to think about when you're booking these flights is currently air flights are up 28 6%.
That's the reason I bought them already. That's the reason I'm trying to find from Dr. Sharif, when's it going to be? Because I buy out usually months in advance. I already bought my flight to Raleigh, so
Right.
I'm there somewhere in October. I bought my flights to Scotland. I'm going there at the end of July, so I usually book out like 6 months in advance because of what you just said. You know, the
flights right now, I don't, even what you're buying in advance is still 26% higher than it was a year ago.
Nick, for the global,
I got
global collaborations. I believe this Bangladesh government collaboration. You should not wait for until November or December. You can come tomorrow, and we can go for.
Just come.
We can come tomorrow.
We can go for big adventure.
I don't do anything
big
tomorrow.
Friendship. You can.
I'm too old. I can't. I'm too old. I can't move that fast. Do something tomorrow. What do you mean? Do something tomorrow?
I will say this: since Nick has left the U.S., he looks healthier. He seems to have dropped a tremendous amount of weight. That looks healthy, not unhealthy. So I think the move has been good for you. People I speak with that have traveled to other countries say the same thing, that they feel healthier when they're in other countries. So, and they know it's the food. We know it's the food. So
yeah, well, also it's the stress of being in America. In other words,
it's very stressful. You're coming in October, right?
Yeah, I'm coming in October. Yeah, I'll be in October. I'll be in Raleigh for about a week. So
okay, you'll have to let me know what dates because I'm booking a trip to. Send me your dates because we're booking a trip to Iceland in October. So.
Ooh, okay, that's pretty cool.
I've never been, and I've been wanting to go for a very, very long. Iceland and Scotland and Ireland are the three on my hit list, along with the Netherlands, all ending in land. But and Bangladesh as well. But I'm talking about that are shorter trips for me. And so I have a group of friends that are going.
Isn't there a nonstop from Raleigh to Iceland?
Yeah, one.
So I thought through Iceland.
One nonstop each direction. They're weird hours, but you save like 8 hours of flying time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because you get a nonstop. I totally agree. Hey, speaking since Steve's here, he probably had in the news that you're going to be on Fox. Like all the time because Fox is going to acquire Roku, and we have 4 channels on Roku. I'm not kidding. So I know Dr. Lockwood wanted to be on Fox. And I said, well, they're paying a network to corporate to get anybody moved over. And then all of a sudden,
I'm going to start wearing my. Sometimes I get on before I go to the legislature, so I'll start wearing my shirt and tie when I come on the tab.
Yeah, well, I'll let you know when.
I've been kind of lazy after the summertime, but it's okay.
But Steve, if you Google, I checked the acquisition. Okay, they announced it on Friday. The stock jumped 20% when they were in discussions about the acquisition. Then they agreed on a price, 160 a share, 96 cash, the rest Fox stock, and they're buying all of Roku. Okay, we run 4 channels on Roku, so all of a sudden, I think what they're going to do is rebrand Roku into Fox streaming. And then, so all of our programming will be on Fox starting whenever this thing goes through. I think it'll all be completed by the end of the year. Usually on merger and acquisition work, it goes by pretty fast as soon as they get antitrust clearance. They just cleared Paramount and what was it? Warner. I mean, really big.
Yeah, that was a big.
So they cleared that. So this will get cleared. Because the antitrust division in this administration isn't going to do anything.
So do you think that people who own Roku TVs are going to have to buy new TVs?
No, I don't think so.
Will it be
seamless? What they want to do is keep the. See, Roku has 100 million. They have 100 million subscribers, so they're going to try to keep those people happy. So Fox will probably try to keep. They want the 100 million. Most of them are in Canada, the United States, and Mexico. They're not big internationally, but Fox does broadcast internationally. They're over here in Europe, and I think they may even be over in Bangladesh. But our programming, They're not in China. Nobody, no, you don't get into China.
They're
China's
not
tough.
in Russia.
That's the
Russia
reason I
only
gotta go
has
see
one
Dr.
channel. You know, Russia has Russia TV. So
I know, right? Well, I got to go see Dr. Sharif so he can introduce me to the Chinese, so we can figure out how to get into China.
Yeah, I just came in with, well, that's exciting news. Congratulations. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. I'll be coming in more frequently. I've been going on Sasha's show more.
Yeah, I saw that. Right.
More, well, it's getting more dialed in on Ukraine, helping me get, a little bit more dialed in on that. And then, I love coming to hear David speak.
Dr. Lockwood always wanted to be on Fox. I mean, it's like his big deal. But of
He's
course, he
got
had some health problems. But now the thing is, when I talk to him, I'll say, your wish will be granted. But not only your wish, but everybody on our whole network.
Well, and that's if they decide to keep all of the channels that were approved for Roku. They may decide, no, we're just going to allow our content only. We just wanted the streaming source.
Yeah,
and the viewers.
we've been cut before.
So,
we'll
we've been down that road before, and I'm not. I mean, if it happens, it happens.
If it happens, it's not going to eliminate Pod TV.
I mean, it was a lot of effort we had to coordinate the right equipment, the right streaming resources, the right interconnection, and we had to get approval for our content, which was to me a great celebration day. Anytime a resource like Roku approved you, said a lot, because they didn't approve everybody. There's a lot of channels, but they didn't approve everybody. So I felt like we did a lot. They changed their system, and that was a huge overhaul for us, and we had to do that. So I just hope that it's a seamless, buyout, and that it just goes. And they just wanted the viewerships. I hope that's all it is.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how that plays out. Oh, the other thing is the Social Security Trust Fund, as you know, is going bankrupt in fourth quarter now of 2032. So they know when it runs out of money.
Okay.
So what they're going to do is form a commission to study how they can, save Social Security. There are 2 seats open for non-politicians, which we're going to try to see if we can get David Walker to be one of them, because he's been beating on this for 6 years that I know of, and probably longer, a decade. Now, you'll love their proposals. Proposals to increase Social Security taxes right now to 3.46 from 2.9. No proposal is to tax dividends and interest, okay? Which is a big loophole, by the way, because a lot of wealthy people, you get your income from dividends and interest. You don't get it from W-2. And nothing about lifting the cap. Once you make over $184,700, you don't pay into Social Security anymore. So there are some big things that are wrong with this system.
Well, if they taxed Elon just 10%, that would be $10 billion, and that would fix the problem.
No, they figured that he's.
If they taxed him just 10%,
if
they taxed all the wealthy across the board 10%, that would be 10 billion.
If you tax the wealthy people, you can solve a lot of problems. I'll give you an idea, and this thing that really takes me off. Congratulations, Elon. Congratulations, you made $500 billion. You made $500 billion. You paid no taxes. How many people on this program can make $500 billion, pay no taxes in the United States? I'm not saying you.
Well, I mean, if you made $500 billion, you would have the team not to pay taxes. You would, because the loopholes exist for millionaires and billionaires. If you want to understand them,
he did. He just made it.
Book. Read David.
He just made the $500 billion. He just made it.
I mean,
paid no taxes.
Truly, if you want a 40% tax cut, all you need to do is make $400,000, according to Trump's tax cut bill. So all you have to do is, once you start generating anything over 400,000, then when you start generating anything over $1 million, you get a bigger tax cut, and then a bigger tax cut. And I'm not talking little tax cuts. I'm talking about eventually, if you know what you're doing, you pay taxes. You get them all back. I'm not going to say they are evading taxes, but they get them back. You pay it in, you report it in, but you get it all back because of the tax cuts. And if you get rid of the loopholes, then you wouldn't have to tax the middle class so much. You would just go across the board, 10%, everybody paid 10% across the board, everybody across the board. And I know you think that's
Charlie's shaking his head, but why?
But I don't think we need to be taxing richer people more. You just need no tax cuts. No tax cuts, no tax breaks.
So just a few things we missed out on. The reason the reason
I've got to run and get ready for some, but congratulations to the Canes. Great seeing you. I will be back in a more formal. Is David Walker coming on today?
No, I'm sorry. I announced he's not going to be here today. He's on the road.
Oh, it's okay.
Well,
it's great
but
to
we're going to see if we can get him to
Canes.
be one of the trustees for one of the commentators for the Social Security Trust Fund, assuming this bipartisan commission goes through. So somebody will have at least an accounting brain in front of them.
All right. Well, looking forward to seeing you guys soon. I'll be back on this week.
Right.
We'll
see you, Steve.
Congrats.
Okay, Jatovi, tell us about.
So, just a few things that we missed already. The reason Fox News is buying Roku is because it is because of the streaming service, but also mainly not because they're going to throw this whole Fox stuff. It's basically the ad service. Now you got 100 million homes globally that you can throw ads on with Fox News stuff. So now you take away the other ads and you begin to propagate more propaganda utilizing the Roku streaming service. Then on top of that, you have the data and the information that you're grabbing from those streaming services. That's the main reason why they're buying it, was the data. Data is key. Data is gold. And if you can get that data, then you can actually control the populace by whatever you want to put out. Yeah, you control the information. And that's the streaming flow. So yes, Fox is going to buy that to become third largest, I think it is. And that's going to be huge coming up over the next few months going into next year, because Fox has been wholeheartedly campaigning for whatever Trump does, because they will ignore. It's the whole tax rate thing. It's become RT. That's what Fox has become for this current administration. But getting to the tax situation, we can agree to get rid of all the loopholes. You get rid of all the loopholes currently, you don't have the issues that we currently have. You raise the tax. A flat tax is regressive. It's already been studied. It's already been pinpointed out.
Yeah, but if you get rid of all the loopholes, there is no loopholes. There's just you pay tax.
If you get rid of all the loopholes currently, you have a tax system already that's working. But if you continue with the loopholes, then you have the actual tax rate that you keep advocating for, where you say you tax people at a higher rate when they don't make money, and you tax people at a lower rate when they.
But I don't want loopholes. I don't want loopholes. I just want tax.
Is a regressive tax rate, because you're taxing people, because there are more people in the world making. For example, right now the average individual in the U.S. is making $65,000 or less. You're taxing them at a high rate. That's what you're advocating for, and then saying, "Oh, the people at the high rate get lower taxes," and that's going to be the incentive.
I don't advocate that either.
If you can't pay for stuff currently, it doesn't matter how much.
I'm going to get rid of loopholes.
You want to make. Because there is a wall that there's a barrier that doesn't allow a lot of people into that high tax bracket, or that tax bracket that you want to make all this money for. So the incentive to make money isn't, hey, you can get lower taxes. That's not going to do anything.
No, there's no lower tax if everyone pays 10.
That's been proven out in our history, because the higher tax rate, we're at one of the lowest tax rates that we've always been at. And we were at a higher tax bracket when we were in the golden era, or the golden age of the U.S. And
what do you pay? What do you pay for taxes right now? What do you pay for taxes?
So the current tax rate sits around 29% for the high tax rate?
It's like
that's not including taxes when you pay for things, but just your income taxes, 28, 27 point something.
Yes.
So and you make middle class income and you're paying that rate, and you may get a loophole or two. You may get a tax break for having children. You may get a tax break for paying a mortgage or whatever, but you may get these tax breaks. I don't think any tax break should exist across the board. I think middle class should only be paying, if we got rid of all the tax breaks and made it very simple and you just paid 10%, wouldn't that just be better?
Regressive. No, that's regressive.
It wouldn't be better if all you paid was 10%.
I get that you're stuck on the 10% and saying that, but that's a regressive tax rate as it's already been studied and it's already been explained multiple times.
It hasn't. Do the math.
I did the math. Everybody's done the math. Everybody's pointed out the math.
Have the complicated system.
What I'm saying,
you want
Kim,
the complicated 28%.
No, Kim, what it is everybody's already done the math and they pointed out that it's a regressive tax rate. No matter how many times you say it's done.
The dummies want you to be dumb.
That math has been done.
No,
so what? Yes, it actually has. I can bring up multiple studies.
Show it to
me. Bring up multiple studies on a regressive tax rate in terms of a rank and a flat tax. But the problem here,
you want to pay? You want to do the complicated tax? You want to do that? That's what you want.
Going down this. When did I say that?
What do you? Okay.
Kim? When did I say
it? You said you would rather pay the 28%.
Kim, I'm gonna have to treat you just like I treat everybody else.
No,
Kim,
you don't.
When did I say?
You're talking over me. You would rather pay 28%.
Kim, quote me.
You would rather pay the 28% because you think 10% is regressive.
Kim, listen to what I'm saying. Are you going to talk over me or are you going to listen to what I'm saying?
I'm going to tell you.
You're going to talk over me. That's what you're going to go with. That's what we're going with. You're going to talk over me. You're not going to listen. Thank you. So that shows me that you don't even care about any other ideas. All you do is care about is what you want to advocate for.
No.
You're not listening to anybody
tell
else.
me how 28% is better than 10%.
I've told you again.
It's not. No, you told me that it's just regressive.
Now you're talking over me. Now we're back to this.
Do the math.
Now, okay. I've already told you want to talk over me? You're going to listen.
No. I don't want you to do this. I want you to financially tell me how 28%.
So you're not letting me answer the question because what you're doing is every time I say a word, you're just going like this. So are you going to listen to what I'm saying or are you going to talk?
All right.
Thank you. Now we're back to an actual application where we can talk. So one, we agree again, starting from the beginning, currently right now at a 20 some odd % tax rate. Not everybody's paying that. People jump through loopholes. We already understand that. What you're advocating for, a flat tax, 10%, nobody get anything. And then at a higher rate, you begin to get cheaper rates. So if you take that 10%, right? Currently, right now, we're taking 28%. You drop that down to 10%. That means you're actually losing money out the gate. That means you're going to have to cut services. Kim, the math doesn't math. If you're already taking 28%, 28 minus 10 is only what? 18%. So how are you going to make up that 18%? So you're not making it up by throwing a 10% tax rate on the rich who are actually jumping through loopholes, who you already stated that you're advocating for gets to pay less. Why? Because they make more. That's what you stated. You stated that multiple times yesterday and today. And then if you jump in, they're paying right now. They're paying 3% or less currently. Zero. That's what they're paying. If you look at what Elon Musk paid, if you look at what Jeff Bezos paid and everybody else in that tax bracket, they pay roughly about 3% or less. That's where they're sitting at. You throw in 10% and you're still not making up that gap of that 18% that you're dropping from even the lower class, that you're dropping from the lower class that's already paying 28%. You're already losing that. And then you want to throw in a 10% tax rate on people that don't even make any money in the first place. So therefore, it's regressive tax people who don't make money right now. So let's get back to the facts of the matter. If you actually just cut out the loopholes that are already being paid right now, you actually fix a lot of the problems. Nick has pointed out that they're not taxing the dividends.
So everyone pays 28%.
Nick has already pointed out that they're not taxing the dividends, so there's a loophole that they're jumping through.
That's right there.
If you tax that bracket and get rid of that loophole, do you realize how much money comes in?
You don't need
the dividends and interest
from a middle class organization. When you get rid of the loopholes, you don't need that high tax bracket.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
Because you're not making up that money.
The higher
because you're not paying for people to process the complicated rules. You're not paying for all of that.
The higher math doesn't work out that way, Kim.
It does.
You need to have those.
Spend more of it processing the loopholes.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No.
You spend a lot of money. The U.S. spends a lot of money on paying people to process the loopholes.
No, Kim.
Yes, they do.
The reason
do you think it costs?
If you ever make it,
they just had to advocate to hire another 5,000 IRS employees due to the fact that they cannot process these things. So therefore, the rich are already going through loopholes because the individuals that they can process are the lower to middle income individuals.
But if you get rid of the loopholes, you don't need those people.
They're not loopholes, they're tax preference items.
Yes. And that's the problem. Okay. You get rid of these loopholes.
And the thing is, Jacoby, you're actually right. Okay. Because the thing is, I work with high income taxpayers every day. And the fact is, they pay more because of the progressive rates. If you gave them a 10% rate, they're all getting a cut. And also, I don't work with low tax bracket because there's nothing for me to work with. But the fact is, if you're in the bottom half, and this is where I agree with Jeff Bezos, they shouldn't have to pay any taxes at all.
And most of them don't. Just want to get rid of the loopholes.
And
we all pay 28%.
You get rid of all the crazy system for the bottom half. First of all, they don't have money. Okay, let's just get real. The top half have all the money. The bottom half don't. So if you're in the bottom half, you pay no taxes. Just get it out of the way. And don't go through all this child care credit and earned income credit and all this garbage.
You don't need
just
any
get
of that.
rid of it altogether. So I agree with Jeff Bezos. Get rid of it. Now, if you're in the top half, you're going to have progressive rates because of the people in the top half. But you're also going to have to close the loopholes and or tax preference items, I would say, such as dividends and interest. Those are the big ones because most people make their money off dividends, interest, and the third one is capital gains. Do you know dividends, interest, capital gains? You know how much you pay in Social Security taxes? Zero. So when your friend Elon Musk made his $500 billion and all his buddies became millionaires and billionaires, you know how much taxes all of them paid on SpaceX? Zero. Not one dime went to Social Security.
That's what I'm saying. We got to get rid of that.
Not one dime went to Medicare. Not one dime went to federal taxes. Not one dime went to state taxes. So they made 1.7 billion with no taxes at all. So but the problem is this, and this is a very serious problem. This is one reason I live in Spain and I know what my tax rate is. I'm trying to keep my income lower, so I won't get because they have a jump rate. Once you hit a certain number, you go way up. It's called the Beckham Law. But basically, it's this: if you don't have those higher rates, you're not going to collect enough to run the government. Frankly, you don't collect enough to run the government as it stands.
No, we're not.
With these low rates. Remember, the government's going under. Now, the other thing they can do and should
they will be taxing the middle class more this year.
And the middle class is getting the burden. What they should do is reinstall the federal estate tax. When I was in practice, if you had more than 600,000, you started paying federal estate taxes. Today, you need more than like 32 million. Okay, so guys like Elon can pass most of his wealth, and because he also creates a private foundation, with no taxes at all. So the thing is, and remember, you say, well, I'll have to pay taxes on my Tesla stock or my SpaceX stock when I sell it. No, you don't. No, you don't. You know how you don't do it? He dies. You get what they call a step up in basis, and all the millionaires know it. And then the kids can sell all the stock and pay zero taxes. You see how easy it is? If you're a wealthy person, it is very easy to play the system. If you're a poor person, you are so screwed in the United States. And those are the people that are, and that's one reason we have such wealth disparity. Most of the money is held by the 1%. They own 50% of the assets.
And they make the laws.
And they make the laws. You got it. Okay. So this is one reason I don't think there's going to be any change in the United States, because they make the laws.
They're not going to make a law to take their money.
Exactly. So the bottom 50% have 1% of the assets. So think about it. If you're in the top 1%, you have half the bananas out there. Okay. And the next 30% have the rest. The bottom 50 have 1%. They all share 1%. So you have income and wealth inequality like there's no tomorrow. However, there's no movement in the United States to change it. Apparently, everybody likes this system where one person has everything and everybody else has nothing. I don't like it.
Well,
so I live in.
Then you've got China.
I live in Spain.
People in China know our laws. Yeah.
So
I met some people from China, and they know our laws, and they go, yeah, we all want to come and work, take our businesses in this environment once we make a couple million, because we don't get taxed in America. So they intentionally move things into America once they reach a certain level. And I met a man who did that. He goes, I pay no taxes the way I'm set up. And I go, you're hurting your own country. And you're hurting our country because you're just generating money that goes back into your pocket that pays no taxes. I mean, it's
well, the thing is, there's also no sense. There's absolutely no sense of contribution too. The thing is, I know right now I pay a lot of money in Spain. Plus, I'm finishing up paying North Carolina and the United States, and I hate it. But at the same time, they're building roads here. They're providing infrastructure in the United States. I hope they're doing something good with it, but I don't think so. But the thing is, I think you over there you have a real serious problem. It's going to come to head in the 2030s. Social Security is going to go under. Nobody's going to stop.
In a few years, in about 7 years.
Yeah, and you can solve these problems. The debt can be solved by just reinstituting the estate tax. Why should rich people have their kids inherit everything without having to pay any taxes at all?
So just to point out,
but who you're going to hurt are the middle class, because they'll find a loophole. I think we just need to get rid of all loopholes.
The estate tax does not hurt the middle class.
So one of the things that I think that we keep trying to point to.
I don't think you have a middle class in the U.S. anymore.
It's eroded. But one of the things that I think you guys are pointing to about the 7 or 8 years out, I don't think it's 7 or 8 years out. It's less than that. It might
it might be today.
Really?
Because if you look at, we just had the richest man in the world make $1 trillion basically off of the U.S., where people cannot eat. People are struggling to find homes, but they're championing and cheerleading a man who just made $1 trillion and utilized our tax dollars to make that $1 trillion. So that is where I'm saying it's less than 7 years. What went on with everything that Trump is doing, it epitomizes everything bad and why we are racing towards this demise. If you look at how, we're going to champion the UFC fight where people are changing clothes, using the White House as a locker room. That's where we are now. And people are celebrating this, but not realizing how deteriorating to not only our culture, our society, but also mathematically where our money is going. $16 million was used to clean up the reflecting pool. Why? To paint it blue, and now there's algae on it.
Algae all over.
Even worse.
Oh, is there really?
Yeah,
it looks worse than it did.
Again, people don't know.
And then
there's algae all over the reflecting.
That's the reason why I haven't installed anything.
It looks so much worse than it did before. That's what people are talking about right now. If you look at the people, the ballroom, talking about all this money for the ballroom, Trump just signed a bill where he gave CBP $70 billion over the rest of his term. So now they've just created a private army, and he's using our tax dollars any way he wants to, regardless of if it helps or harms anybody. He's just doing it because he wants to do it. He doesn't care about anybody else. So when you're saying 7 years out, no, my guess is if we make it through these past next 3 years, because there's going to be an attempt this fall, it's going on right now, to try and actually steal this election based on what they're doing with not only giving money to CBP to send them on down, because who is it, Lawler, who's now the guy in the head of CBP, already won't rule out ICE being used at voting or at polling stations. So ICE is going to be there to actually intimidate, push people away, and try and deter people from voting so they can steal that election. Well, they're already trying to put in a law to federalize the elections by getting, they're talking about where states cannot have money if they do not turn over their voter rolls and their voter databases. So that's just another way of stealing an election. So that's going to take place in the fall. So if it turns out that the Democrats take back the House and the Senate, which would be great, because then you can have checks and balances back in order. But if they don't, yeah, we're not going to make it the next 3 years without being in another war. We're going to lose a lot of money. All this Project 2025, they've been trying to privatize Social Security for a very long time. That's what's going to happen next. It's just, it's very obvious.
I mean, and I watched the review committees that were put in place a few years after the 2025 incentive was put into place, the Tax Cut Job Act. And they did a huge review on it. And one of the things that they stated was it has caused the country to go in serious debt. And in order to prevent a huge dropout, they would have to tax the middle class more. And this was a review from universities, senators, but people who, both sides were there. And they all did, their own math, but they all agreed that it's going to be, the weight's going to be put on the middle class, and the lower income is going to have to be taxed at a higher rate than normal, because they need a volume of money coming in, and that's the only way to do it. I believe you take away the tax cuts for the ultra rich and you let the money come in that way, because I think it would come in at the same percentage than if you have, billions of people having to pay a higher tax rate. They go, oh, well, we're just going to have to tax the middle class an additional 10%. Well, then I watched a Senate review show that the Republicans were voting on increasing it by a lot more than that. So, and then you have Abbott, who's sitting there and in his speech going, we can't allow Democrats to vote in the elections. They should not be allowed to. And I mean, that just needs to go. You know what I mean? That just needs to go. And then they sit there and they go, oh, all of the sanctuary cities are dangerous. Well, take a look at all the red cities, because I want to tell you right now, the crime rate is so much higher, the homeless rate, and it stinks. Houston, Texas stinks when you get off the plane and walk into the city. I have never smelled a fouler smell in my life than when a skunk walks by. I'm telling you, it is horrifying.
So,
and yes, that's not sanctuary.
I mean, the red states pay money, receive the most money in terms of tax benefits. The blue states pay in and receive less. So the blue states are paying basically for the red states to survive. That's just the way it is. And that's just the reality of the situation. But again, the problem is that we have a Congress that is feckless and will do whatever this president says. And with the tax, that's why I say, with everything coming out, the money that's going out right now, the expenditures that we're doing are all his things that he wants to do. He's giving money directly to his family, basically tax dollars directly to his family, because they're jumping on boards that they have no business in. They're doing cryptocurrency, getting money from somewhere in the world, and they're giving money to that. It's an extremely corrupt system.
Why do they always want to take over other countries? I mean, Albania is in a really big stir right now because of their engagement over there. And I truly believe it's because they're targeting certain people for their backdoor businesses, such as the sex trade, which they seem to be pardoning all of the big people who've been caught in that. And I mean, I'm wondering, has Trump pardoned the Alexander brothers, the trio yet?
They're building an island. They're building
another island. We need another island besides that.
They're building who's building an island?
That's Melania and all of them. That's what they got caught for.
They're wanting to take Albania is what they're wanting to do.
Yeah, but so they're basically making Epstein Island 2. So it's
Epstein Island 2.
Yes. So it's just.
I mean, they spent They've spent $224 million on Kristi Noem's vanity ads, and Nick, you and I both know that each of those ads weren't worth $30,000, but all her money went into a fake company, and nobody has checkpoint that and where that is, and that was $224 million. And then you had the $100 million she used to pimp out her plane to be like Epstein's Lolita, which was nothing but a human trafficking bedroom. So I mean, and nobody's doing anything about that. And that was at least $300 million of our tax money just flushed down for stuff like that. I mean,
so they won't do anything for it. I mean, this is why it's an extreme, and this is why his cabinet won't say anything. This is why the individuals that are in Congress won't say anything. They're making a killing on insider trading, all this other stuff. Yeah, matter of fact, Mike Johnson and the Republican Party said insider trading was either Mike Johnson and Vance and the other they were trying to advocate and say, yeah, insider trading is not bad anymore. So this is where we are. They're making money. They're making a killing off of taxpayer dollars, and they are going to do everything they can to keep the power so they can continue to make money. They don't care about. I mean, heck, when they did so. They are, and Nick, this is where I'm really with you a lot on is the whole education on that financial literacy piece, on education of what things go to. And this is why, like when we talk about the tax dollars, we need to know where the tax dollars go, because what people don't understand is where the tax dollars really go and why we need particular tax dollars. For example, right now you have the Ebola outbreak that's going on in the Congo that's actually growing. Well, our tax dollars were helping with that. We were supposed to be, that was why the USAID was there, because, hey, that's why we were in the middle of WHO, because, hey, we have the early signature or early signs of being able to stop that. That was what that was for. That's why when COVID broke out, when Trump came in and cut that whole department, guess what? We had a worldwide pandemic. And now we have Ebola that's happening. They cut the stuff for the vaccine studies. So now they're cutting back on all the different vaccines. And that's why we have measles outbreak. We have, right now, the biggest thing that's even scarier than not only Ebola, but also even measles and so on and so forth. Now we have the first time in 60 years, we have a screwworm infestation. That will kill all the livestock. That is not a joke. That is not hyperbole. That is what screwworm does. It eats the actual inside. It eats the actual animal from the inside out after it leaves the larva.
Yeah, they try to convince us that they don't eat human flesh. Yeah. I think flesh is flesh.
And that's the scary
human
part.
Is going to eat you.
The screwworm can actually infect a human because it goes and finds a cut. That's what it looks for. And so it lays its eggs right into that cut, and then the larva eats the inside out. But that's the thing, is that it will destroy all livestock because it kills the meat. The meat is no longer.
Notice just how many viruses and infestations and just mass destruction hits our world every time Trump's in office.
But
it's almost like in the Bible and the lotus come, and people just don't get it. And people just don't get the message.
So, like, last year when Trump did the whole tariff situation, and he was killing the meat, would not send meat to, or would not send livestock to Mexico. We had that whole embargo there. That was partially part of the issue that created the screwworm issue. Then they cut the funding. So that also allowed the screwworm to leave where it is, because what they do is they actually irradiate flies to make them sterile. So then the screwworm fly, the female fly, will mate with that. Well, the male fly will mate with the female, and so they're sterile. They're not. Nothing happens.
No babies.
And then that fly is gone. But again, the screwworm is the scariest thing out of the Ebola and measles and whooping cough and everything. And heck, we're going to have iron lung in a little bit, but we're going to have all this stuff is coming just because this administration doesn't care about it.
No, and they've convinced.
Oh, we'll have to talk about that Wednesday. I'll ask Dr. Patmos about the screw.
But all of this cost us money that we don't have to reinvest in, while our, the new Lord and Master of the White House is hosting, $1 million seat UFC fights, that the money doesn't come back to America. The money goes everywhere else. And I find it odd that none of the fighters are U.S. American, or most of them are not. Most of them are, from other countries. So, but meanwhile, we also have the World Cup. We have many other great sporting events going on that do generate a revenue back into the common people's pocketbooks, or we generate it back into the world. But meanwhile, the gap between the wealthy and poverty has grown. It has exploded.
Can I congratulate?
It's something Nick and I wanted to help close, because when you educate people on how to be more financially literate and manageable of your own money, usually you close it. But the Republicans don't want people to be educated. They don't want them to be awake. They want them to walk with closed eyes into the storm, and you can't do that. So
we should congratulate Elon Musk and his friends.
Congratulate, yes, thank you.
And paying no taxes at all and contributing nothing to the U.S. economy. But he is getting government contracts that help support his valuation. So everybody here is paying into King Elon. And I think his investment in Donald Trump paid off for him, because they left that whole issue. So this way,
a lot of people forget that his name is on the inside.
He's doing great.
It's huge. But his attorney was smarter than all of the attorneys, including Trump, even though Trump hired Epstein's attorneys to represent him, and he's also appointed them to other things. Elon's attorney was even smarter, because all of Elon's replies were sealed, not just, redacted. Yeah, no, they were sealed the day they were submitted. It took forever to serve Elon to respond to the depositions. I mean, they chased him for months and months and months. You could see it in the court records. I love this clerk of court. Loved this clerk. I mean, everything was so detailed with this clerk of court. And so everything that you saw, the filings, the submittals, Your Honor, can we just serve Elon's attorneys? Those kind of things. You saw that, not just the paperwork, but you saw it. And but yeah, Elon was in there big time. So why do you seal all of your responses unless you're guilty? I mean, because the questions were standard. If you look at all the questions that were sent out in the depositions, did you participate? Did you fly on the plane? Did you go to the island? They were all basically the standard questions.
They were all sealed.
Pedophile activity. Those were the questions that were asked, and they were all sealed. Yes.
Well, good for him. It seems like he's doing well. We're doing well over in Spain.
And a trillionaire now.
So we will see you next week. Hopefully, David will be rejoining us. He's on the road.
Have fun, David.
Bye-bye.